Dying is people's number 2 fear. Number 1 is public speaking. In every class and every club, you use public speaking at some point. We want to help students with public speaking, but we also want to help students come out of their shell in general.
Welcome to Pilot Projects, Stories from the Jefferson Trust, brought to you by the Sound on Grounds team at the University of Virginia Library. My name is Sarah Bastinelli. Public speaking is hard, believe me, I know. For one of the very first classes I took at the University of Virginia, I was expected to conduct a 30-minute presentation on a research project. Even though I had a great amount of background knowledge on my research topic, it was almost impossible to speak coherently on the subject, knowing that my whole class was watching me. Public speaking is such an important skill, both inside the classroom and outside in the real world, yet often we are not taught how to be good public speakers in the same way that we are taught to be good writers or mathematicians. This week, Jason and I learned about the UVA Speaking Center from their executive director. I'll let her introduce herself.
My name is Jolina Dong. I'm a rising third year. I'm in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I'm majoring in Government and Global Studies.
We asked Jolina, what exactly is the UVA Speaking Center?
So the UVA Speaking Center is a parallel of the UVA Writing Center, but for students who need help with public speaking.
The UVA Writing Center is a free resource where students can get assistance with all stages of the writing process, from brainstorming to revisioning.
We began this all throughout my second year. All of last year, we were working on it, getting professors on board. We have faculty advisors to train our student consultant team. We have a team of student consultants who are trained public speakers. They're in moot court, mock trial, all sorts of public speaking clubs on campus. And basically, they fill out their availability, and we try to function like the writing center. We put this out to students. Students can sign up for one-on-one appointments. And through the Jefferson Trust, we're allowed to do honorarius for the student consultants, so we make the service free for all students.
Jolina reestablished the Speaking Center after years of inactivity. We asked her how she went about this endeavor and what her main goals were for the new and improved center.
So Chris Obolensky, a student who graduated in 2022, founded the Speaking Center during his third year, and he found it to be a success. He was great at moot court. He was in the hullabahoos.
There's a couple of terms to clarify here. Moot court gives students the chance to practice arguing hypothetical cases before a panel of judges, and it develops research, writing, critical thinking, and public speaking skills. It's different than mock trial, which focuses on practicing trial proceedings. And the Hullabahoos? They're one of UVA's a cappella groups, and they've been around since 1978.
And he founded it with Professor Katie Gary, one of the professors in the drama department, who does a lot with public speaking. And they worked together very closely throughout the next 2 years. He built up a huge team of student consultants, leadership, and they got this out to so many students, all different classes, all different majors. They just continued to put this out there. And I think final statistics show that they helped over 100 to 200 people in the 1 year that they ran. So it was a really, really great service. Coming into UVA, when I was younger, I was an ESL student. And while I'm a lot more confident now and I could speak a lot more fluently, I still get anxious when speaking in front of a crowd just because I remember how it is not being able to speak. So coming into UVA, that's something I really wanted to fix. I remember my first year, I was trying to find public speaking classes, but the few that were offered through the drama department all filled up super, super quickly. And not only was I upset about it, I heard a lot of students complaining about it and how only fourth years could get in. But coming into my second year, I realized that this was something that I really wanted to work on since I want to go into law. So coming into my second year, I was preparing for an audition, and I looked up public speaking resources at UVA, and a website for Speaking Center at UVA popped up. And I was like, why have I not heard of this? This is so helpful. And I went through the website, and it was exactly like the Writing Center. It was an amazing resource. It's all free. It was free consultations with students who are trained in public speaking. And those students were trained by faculty advisors. It just seems so amazing. So I went and made an appointment. I fully got a confirmation email and everything. The day of the appointment rolled around and I was ready to go. But the one thing about it was that I could not find a location. I looked everywhere on the website. I did not know where to go. I did not know what to do. So what ended up happening was I went on the website and I called the number on it just to ask, oh, hey, I have an appointment today. Do you know where I go? And the guy who answered, it was Chris. And I was like, is this the Speaking Center? And he was like, I guess. And we just ended up talking since he told me about how he graduated from UVA in 2022. And after him, the new round of leadership didn't really take it on. They didn't take it very seriously. The new president wasn't as strong as he was. So eventually it just fell apart and the Speaking Center no longer exists. So I did a lot of thinking, and the faculty advisor he has is still here. The website he has, he's been paying for it for the last 3 years. It's just sitting there. everything is in place. Why wouldn't we bring this resource back? So then I started talking to people. I reached out to Katie Gary, the woman who originally helped him. She was so excited that this was coming back. We worked together. I got another professor on board, Professor Mary Kate Carey, who was a former White House speechwriter. Since Katie Gary had more of the drama, the performance side, and she had the technical speech writing and delivery side. We put this out to speech writing classes. We put this out to a lot of different clubs, and we had so many applicants for students who wanted to be student consultants. And it was just interesting since before we secured that Jefferson Trust funding, I told students, like, this may not be a paid opportunity. It was never paid in the past. And that was one of Chris's biggest regrets, since he thinks it would have been a lot more sustainable and students would have been a lot interested if students were paid. But I fully told students, you may not get paid through this. And they were all excited to volunteer their time, which was really great. It made me really happy. So after the winter semester, we finished recruiting. I had a director of recruitment, Sky. She's amazing. She helped me build a really, really strong team with like different assets and skills. And in March, we finished finalizing all the background stuff at the Speaking Center, and we got the funding from the Jefferson Trust, and I put that all in order. And then we started offering services to the UVA community, and it's been really, really great since. And thank you to the Jefferson Trust too, since we wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Like they've been super, super helpful.
You mentioned that it was weird that you didn't know about this, and I felt the same thing because I feel like I tend to have a lot of issues with public speaking, and it was really exciting when I was doing the research for this episode to find this. Why do you think that it's like so hard to get word out about that? And is this something that like UVA could do better?
I'm the communications intern for UVA Student Affairs, and I was putting out our newsletter every week. I was sending out to a lot of professors and a lot of clubs that like I know had public speakers. But I think an issue in this is a lot of people who need the help with public speaking don't know where to look. They don't know where to start. Come fall, like I have new ideas to get stuff out. I have ideas of putting flyers up. I have ideas to do workshops. We're partnering with the Writing Center in the fall. So I think that'll be a really great help. And we want to offer speech writing and speech delivery workshops to people who are auditioning in the fall, since there's a lot of moot court mock trial auditions that involve public speaking. But also, I've been contacted over the summer by organizations who want us to come and do a little overview of the program. So I'm very excited for the direction that this will go in the fall.
How do you plan to achieve sustainability for this project after you graduate?
Right. So my original plan, I visited the provost a lot during my second year, and his chief of staff like would sit down with me and we just have conversations about this. And he talks about it's hard to get stuff permanently ingrained in this university because everything's constantly changing. But I did a lot of research for him. I pulled up statistics from other universities, even my pitch basically, and I showed him all the statistics backing it up and how I was so determined about this. And Chris was a third year when he brought this idea up. I was a second year. I have an extra year to get this going. A lot of the professors, they were all willing to help me get this out and make sure it doesn't become what it once was. But originally, my plan with the Jefferson Trust was their flash grant funding. It'll last us a year and a half. But the university also told me, and the College of Arts and Sciences, they told me if I can show success within the next year or a year and a half, we can talk about permanent plans. We could talk about getting faculty support. We could talk about getting building space and getting funding from the university so that we don't have to rely on all these things. And my biggest goal before I graduate is to make sure that the school's on board with it and the school can provide continuous support. Since every year the leadership team is changing and switching and people are graduating, people are coming in. But I think if we have the university support and we have a guaranteed factor in there, it would go a lot better.
Do you think that getting this in front of other people in other kind of performative ways is going to make that sustainability increase?
I think it's a lot about hitting the right people too. Not a lot of people are going to check the student newsletter every week. Not a lot of people are going to go to informational meetings. Even though we've talked about like throwing a few of those out in the fall and putting out to different clubs and having students come in, there are a lot of leadership groups, public service pathways who have reached out to us about putting this out specifically for their students because of what they do. And the speaking center, like I fully plan on sending the brightest leaders and the brightest people in public service from our speaking center to give an orientation and explain why this is so important. I think targeting the right people and targeting the right purposes. Our student consulting group is such a versatile group that I could pull a different person out for anything. I want to just give credit to my executive team since we pulled this together from scratch. My team worked really hard to prepare for orientation and get this off the ground. So I'm very, very grateful for the team behind me. And I'm grateful that we can get stipends to help compensate them. You think like people are English, political science. No, we have health majors too, bio majors. Like I pulled a really versatile group together and I plan on showcasing each of their strengths in different ways to attract people and convince people that public speaking is so important. We're one of the top schools in the country. We produce so many public speaking leaders. Like this is a skill that is so crucial that we're lacking.
What are some of the skills that you learned while working at the Speaking Center that you will take with you into the future?
My biggest thing from the center is leadership. Like, I've really learned what it takes to do this. And I fully know that when Chris did it the first time, he did such an amazing job, but it wasn't sustainable. And I started this during my second year. Now that I'm going into my third year, my biggest priority is making sure this isn't another club that falls apart in 2 years. I am building a strong leadership team. There's a lot of first years on board. I fully plan on passing down all the resources to them when I graduate. And our entire leadership team, the majority of them are in my year. So we're going to build this up and really make sure it's sustainable. But I've really been doing everything I can to avoid the pitfalls that happened in the past. And I talk to Chris regularly. Like, he's a mentor to me. He's an advisor to this club. He gives me a lot of, oh, if I were to do it again, I do this, I do this, I do this. And it's just super, super helpful.
Why do you think it's important that you do keep this club sustainable? Like, why is it such an important resource for students?
One of the biggest things I discovered is that almost every other university in Virginia has this.
Oh, wow.
Virginia Tech has it, Richmond has it, William and Mary has it. Why don't we have it? And not even just Virginia schools, like, all the Ivies basically have it. So many of the top schools have it. I think it's about time. And one of my biggest goals before I leave UVA is to get student affairs and provost in on this. And I've had conversations with the provost. He thinks if I can sustain this for a year or two, like, we can talk about ways to permanently integrate it into UVA. But even from other schools, their reviews, students love the speaking center. Like, my friends from other schools regularly go visit their speaking center. Public speaking is a resource that everyone use. And there's a quote that Chris gave me that's dying is people's number two fears. Number one is public speaking. In every class and every club, you use public speaking at some point. And one of my biggest things, this is something I'm deviating from what Chris did with this organization. I want to do conversational speaking too, like public speaking as our main focus, but also there are a lot of students who have come in who are ESL learners, like I was. A lot of students who are just socially awkward and don't know how to make a conversation. And at a school like UVA, networking and building that community and building that network is so important. We want to help students with public speaking, but we also want to help students come out of their shell in general. And I've done some of that with my consultations.
Do you have any quick tips for us that we could give out for either performative speaking or just the conversational speaking you're talking about?
Oh, quick tips. During orientation, when I had our faculty advisors come and give us a lot of advice, they brought in different perspectives. Like, they were amazing. A lot of speaking isn't what you say, is how you deliver it. Slowing down has always been my biggest thing. Like, even growing up, I would just, as if someone who didn't natively speak English, I would get nervous and just talk fast to get it over with. But confidence and delivery, honestly, people say you could just say anything, and as long as you deliver it right, it'll hit right. So my biggest thing is taking a deep breath and really just feeling natural, but in a way where you and the person who's hearing it feels comfortable. Like, use your hands, just really use your body to convey what you're speaking. I think body language is such a big part of public speaking that no one talks about.
How can students who want to get help from the center get involved?
On our website, if you go to speakingcenter@uva.com, there's a calendar with all of our student consultants' availabilities, and you just choose whenever you want to make your appointment and choose that student consultant, and then just book with them, and it'll go through to their email. And between the two of you, you can find the time and location.
Pilot Projects, Stories from the Jefferson Trust is a Sound on Grounds podcast. Sound on Grounds and all the projects featured in Pilot Projects are sponsored by Jefferson Trust grants. You can find more Sound on Grounds podcasts at virginiaaudio.com. Today's episode was engineered and recorded by Sarah Bastinelli in the Robertson Media Center audio studio. It was written and edited by Sarah and me, Jason Evans Groth. The Pilot Projects show cover was designed by UVA alum Carina Velocci. I wrote and recorded all the music in this episode in the Robertson Media Center audio studio. Thanks again to Jolina Dong for sharing her story with us.